Number 1. This 1966 Ford Fairlane convertible honestly feels like the kind of classic American car that perfectly represents the elegance and excitement of the mid-60s. In my opinion, the Fairlane has always been one of Ford's most underrated platforms because it combines muscle car attitude with clean styling and everyday drivability. But when you take a Fairlane and turn it into a fully detailed show-quality convertible like this one, it becomes something truly special. The first thing that immediately catches my attention is the blue-on-blue color combination. Personally, I think blue is one of the best colors for a 60s Ford because it gives the car a rich and timeless appearance without being overly flashy. And with the matching blue interior, this Fairlane probably has an incredibly classy and cohesive look from every angle. One thing I've always loved about convertibles from this era is how they instantly create a completely different atmosphere compared to hardtop cars. In my opinion, 60s American convertibles represent freedom and cruising culture better than almost anything else on the road. Cars like this were built for warm evenings, long highway drives, local car shows, and simply enjoying the experience of driving. And honestly, the 1966 Fairlane body style already looks fantastic on its own. The proportions are clean and muscular without being oversized, and the lines flow beautifully from front to back. But when you combine that styling with a convertible top and show-quality presentation, the result is incredibly elegant. The seller repeatedly emphasizes how clean the car is, and honestly, that stands out immediately. In my opinion, there's a huge difference between a decent classic car and a truly show-quality example. When a seller specifically mentions the paint, chrome, interior, undercarriage, and engine bay all being exceptionally detailed, it usually means the car has been cared for at a very high level. Personally, I think spotless undercarriages and clean engine bays are some of the biggest signs of a quality classic car build because those are areas many owners ignore. If the underside is clean, chances are the rest of the vehicle received the same level of attention and maintenance. The show-quality paint and bodywork also sound incredibly appealing. Classic cars from the 60s have beautiful natural body lines, and high-quality paint really allows those lines to stand out properly. I can already imagine this Fairlane shining under the sunlight at a local car show with the chrome trim reflecting everywhere. Speaking of chrome, the seller specifically mentions immaculate brightwork and trim, and honestly, chrome is a huge part of the personality of 60s American cars. Modern vehicles today often look very minimal and understated, but classic cars like this Fairlane proudly used chrome details to create elegance and visual drama. The convertible top being in excellent condition is another major positive in my opinion. Convertible tops can sometimes become expensive and difficult to maintain properly, so hearing that this one remains in great shape adds a lot of value to the overall package. Inside the cabin, the seller says the interior is extremely clean and well preserved, and honestly, interiors are such an important part of the classic car experience. In my opinion, the feeling of sitting inside a beautifully preserved 60s convertible with vintage gauges, chrome accents, and soft upholstery creates a level of nostalgia that modern cars simply cannot reproduce. Under the hood, while the seller doesn't specify exact engine details, they do mention a strong V8 paired with a smooth automatic transmission. Personally, I think that setup perfectly fits the personality of a Fairlane convertible like this. This car doesn't sound like it was built to be a hardcore race car. Instead, it sounds like a refined and powerful cruiser designed to deliver smooth, effortless driving while still carrying the unmistakable sound and character of a classic American V8. And honestly, there's something special about a smooth-running vintage V8 in a convertible. You get the rumble, the relaxed cruising feel, and the open-air driving experience all at once. The seller also says the car runs and drives excellent, which honestly is one of the most important things when it comes to high-end classics. Some show cars become too delicate or overly restored to comfortably drive, but this Fairlane sounds like a proper turnkey cruiser that's ready to enjoy immediately. One thing I personally appreciate most is the seller describing it as ready for cruises, shows, or collection use. In my opinion, the best classic cars are the ones that can comfortably fit all three categories. You want something beautiful enough for shows but reliable enough to actually drive and enjoy. The mileage is listed at just over 7,000 miles, which likely reflects mileage since restoration or drivetrain work, and honestly, the overall presentation sounds extremely fresh. Another thing I love about cars like this is the emotional reaction they create. Modern vehicles today may be technologically advanced, but very few of them can create the same excitement and nostalgia as a beautifully restored 60s convertible. I can easily imagine this Fairlane cruising slowly through town with the top down, V8 rumbling softly, while people smile, wave, and stare because cars like this naturally attract attention everywhere they go. And honestly, clean fairlane convertibles in this level of condition are becoming increasingly difficult to find. Many older convertibles suffered from rust, neglect, or poor restorations over the years, so well-preserved examples now stand out even more. The asking price of $55,000 is obviously serious money, but in my opinion, true show-quality classic cars with excellent presentation, strong drivability, and beautiful restoration work continue to hold strong value in today's collector market. What I personally love most about this fairlane is the balance it offers. It has elegance, muscle car heritage, open-top cruising appeal, and show-quality presentation all in one package. Number 2. 1967 Chevrolet Impala Fastback. This 1967 Chevrolet Impala Fastback is a custom-styled full-size Chevrolet cruiser that combines classic late 60s body lines with show-oriented paintwork and traditional lowrider-inspired detailing. Finished in a highly customized candy root beer exterior with ghost flake effects and paired with a matching brown interior, the car presents a distinctive appearance that blends vintage Chevrolet styling with personalized craftsmanship intended to stand out both on the street and at car events. The vehicle is described by the seller as fully completed and ready to drive, suggesting that the major cosmetic and assembly work has already been finished. Unlike unfinished restoration projects requiring extensive work before road use, this Impala appears positioned as a turnkey cruiser intended for immediate enjoyment. The seller does note, however, that the car currently needs a 327 engine installation while still retaining its original 2-speed automatic transmission. This means the next owner would need to complete the drivetrain portion of the build before the vehicle reaches full operational condition. The retained original 2-speed transmission preserves an important part of the car's factory-era mechanical identity. Chevrolet's early automatic transmissions from this period became common in full-size models because they emphasized smooth operation and comfortable cruising characteristics rather than aggressive performance. Pairing the transmission with a traditional 327 small-block Chevrolet V8 would create a classic mid-60s drivetrain combination that balances reliability, simplicity, and period-correct driving feel. The 327 engine remains one of Chevrolet's most respected small-block platforms due to its broad aftermarket support, durable design, and strong street performance potential. Visually, the exterior is clearly one of the vehicle's standout features. The candy root beer paint incorporates ghost flake detailing, creating a deep layered finish that changes character depending on lighting conditions and viewing angle. Candy-style paintwork has long been associated with custom lowrider and show car culture because of its ability to create dramatic reflections and enhanced visual depth. According to the listing, the roof design work was completed by Felix Designs, adding another personalized styling element to the car's presentation. Custom roof graphics and painted detailing became especially popular within West Coast custom car culture and continue to be strongly associated with classic Chevrolet lowrider builds today. The fastback body style of the 1967 Impala remains one of the most recognizable full-size Chevrolet designs of the muscle car era. The sweeping roofline, long rear quarter panels, and broad stance gave these cars a sporty yet elegant appearance that continues to attract collectors and custom builders alike. Compared to earlier Impala generations, the 1967 redesign introduced cleaner body contours and a more refined overall silhouette, helping cement the model's long-term popularity. The seller notes that the car has had only 2 owners and retains a clean title. Lower ownership histories can sometimes suggest more consistent long-term care and reduced exposure to repeated modifications or neglect. The clean title status also helps support straightforward ownership documentation and transfer. Unlike restoration-focused factory-original Impalas, this particular example appears aimed more toward custom cruiser culture, emphasizing visual presentation, individuality, and street presence over strict originality. The candy paint, ghost flake effects, custom roof detailing, and planned small-block drivetrain all contribute to a car that feels purpose-built for weekend cruising, car shows, and local automotive events. The brown exterior and interior combination further reinforces the warm, rich appearance associated with many custom builds from the lowrider and show car scene. When combined with the fastback body design, the color scheme creates a highly distinctive visual identity that separates the car from more traditional factory-style restorations. Overall, this 1967 Chevrolet Impala Fastback presents itself as a nearly completed custom classic with strong visual character, clean structural condition, and a highly recognizable body style that remains deeply connected to American cruiser culture. The vehicle's personalized paintwork, custom roof treatment, and retained factory transmission create a solid foundation for a future owner looking to complete the drivetrain installation and enjoy a standout vintage Chevrolet with unmistakable street presence. This vehicle is located in Las Vegas, Nevada, and is currently being offered for sale at a firm asking price of $30,000 with no trades requested by the seller. Number 3. 1969 Ford Fairlane 500 Convertible. This 1969 Ford Fairlane 500 Convertible is a classic late 1960s American cruiser that combines vintage Ford styling, V8 performance, and the open-air driving experience that made convertible muscle-era cars so desirable. Finished in a green exterior with a matching green interior, this Fairlane carries a very authentic period-correct appearance that reflects the bold factory color combinations popular during the late 1960s. According to the seller, the vehicle is a true two-owner car and remains an excellent driver, making it appealing for enthusiasts who prefer honest, usable classics rather than over-restored show-only vehicles. Under the hood sits a 302 cubic inch Ford the 5th 8 paired with an automatic transmission. The 302 small block became one of Ford's most dependable and versatile engines because of its strong reliability, smooth power delivery, and simple maintenance characteristics. This particular Fairlane has been upgraded with a 4-barrel carburetor and an aluminum intake manifold, modifications that help improve airflow and throttle response over the original factory setup. The result is likely a more responsive and enjoyable driving experience while still maintaining the relaxed cruising personality expected from a vintage Ford convertible. Combined with the automatic transmission, the car appears well suited for comfortable highway driving, weekend cruising, and local car shows. The seller also notes that the vehicle recently received new 15-inch tires and wheels, giving the car a slightly more modern and aggressive stance while improving overall road manners compared to the original smaller factory wheel setup. At the same time, the original intake manifold, carburetor, and original 14-inch wheels and tires are included with the sale, adding extra value for buyers interested in preserving or returning the vehicle closer to factory specifications in the future. Having the original components included is often important to collectors because it helps maintain the car's long-term originality and historical character. One of the strongest qualities of this Fairlane is its honest presentation. Rather than being described as a flawless trailer queen, the seller openly acknowledges several cosmetic imperfections consistent with an original survivor quality driver. The paint is reportedly original and shows normal wear, including minor dents, scratches, and small dings accumulated over decades of use. The driver's side front fender also has some visible damage, and the convertible top could eventually use replacement. However, the seller emphasizes that the convertible top motor itself works properly, meaning the top still functions mechanically despite the aging material. This type of transparency often appeals to buyers looking for a genuine classic they can drive and enjoy immediately without worrying about preserving a perfect concours-level finish. Visually, the 1969 Fairlane body style remains one of Ford's more understated but attractive designs from the muscle car era. The long body proportions, wide stance, and clean sidelines give the car a strong road presence while still maintaining the refined appearance of a late 1960s personal cruiser. Convertible versions are especially desirable because they offer a much different ownership experience compared to hardtops, allowing drivers to fully enjoy the sound of the V8 and the open road atmosphere that defined classic American cruising culture. The green-on-green color combination further enhances the car's vintage personality and helps it stand apart from more commonly restored black, red, or white muscle cars. Inside, the matching green interior likely continues the car's authentic factory atmosphere with spacious seating and a comfort-oriented design. Cars like the Fairlane 500 Convertible were originally intended to balance sporty V8 power with comfortable cruising capability, making them ideal for long summer drives and relaxed weekend use. While the listing does not mention major interior restoration work, the overall impression is that the vehicle has been preserved as a functional and enjoyable classic rather than heavily modified or stripped down. The odometer currently shows approximately 142,000 miles, but the seller continues to describe the car as a dependable and excellent running driver overall. Many enthusiasts actually appreciate classics that have remained roadworthy and actively driven over the years because it often indicates consistent maintenance and regular mechanical upkeep rather than long periods of storage or neglect. Located in Franktown, Colorado, this 1969 Ford Fairlane 500 Convertible is offered at an asking price of $11,500. Considering the running condition, V8 drivetrain, convertible body style, two-owner history, included original components, and overall originality, the car presents an affordable entry point into classic American convertible ownership. For buyers looking for a vintage Ford they can immediately enjoy while gradually improving over time, This Fairlane offers a balanced combination of authenticity, usability, and old-school muscle-era charm. Number 4. A clean and freshly updated 1974 Ford Maverick that combines compact classic styling with dependable small-block V8 performance and a series of recent upgrades aimed at improving both appearance and drivability. Finished in bright yellow with a black interior, this Maverick carries the bold personality and sporty character that helped make these cars increasingly popular among classic Ford enthusiasts. While the Maverick originally entered the market as a compact economy-based platform, V8-equipped examples like this have gained a strong following because of their lightweight design, simple mechanical layout, and impressive potential for fun street performance. Power comes from a rebuilt 302 cubic inch V8, also commonly referred to as a 5.0-liter Ford small block. According to the seller, the engine rebuild was completed approximately 5,000 miles ago, suggesting the drivetrain still remains relatively fresh and lightly used since the work was performed. The 302 Ford engine has long been respected for its reliability, strong aftermarket support, and excellent balance between power and everyday drivability. In a lightweight car like the Maverick, a healthy 302 can make the car feel surprisingly quick and responsive while still remaining comfortable enough for regular cruising. The engine has also received several supporting upgrades and maintenance items, including a new carburetor, fuel pump, distributor, spark plugs, and ignition wires. Together, these components help improve fuel delivery, ignition reliability, and overall engine performance. On older classic cars, refreshing these systems can make a major difference in how smoothly the vehicle starts, idles, and drives. The seller's description suggests the car has already undergone much of the basic mechanical refreshing that many project cars still require after purchase. Backing the V8 is an automatic transmission, making the car easier and more relaxed to drive compared to some manual transmission muscle-era vehicles. This setup likely complements the Maverick's personality well, allowing it to function as a comfortable weekend cruiser while still delivering the unmistakable sound and feel of a classic American V8. Cars like this often strike a nice balance between sporty performance and approachable drivability, making them appealing to a wide range of enthusiasts. Visually, the fresh yellow paint gives the Maverick a very eye-catching and energetic appearance. Bright colors fit these compact 1970s Ford designs especially well because they emphasize the car's sporty proportions and youthful styling. Combined with the black interior, the overall presentation creates a classic muscle-inspired color combination that feels both aggressive and period-correct. The Maverick's compact dimensions, long hood, and clean body lines continue to give it a unique identity compared to larger muscle cars from the same era. Inside, the vehicle has received additional updates including new carpet and a new headliner, helping refresh the cabin and improve overall presentation. Interior restoration work can dramatically improve the ownership experience because it makes the car feel cleaner, more comfortable, and more complete during everyday use. Even relatively simple upgrades like carpet and headliner replacement can transform how well cared for a classic vehicle feels inside. The Ford Maverick occupies an interesting place in automotive history because it began as a practical compact car during a period when American manufacturers were starting to respond to changing fuel economy demands. However, V8-equipped Mavericks quickly developed a reputation for being lightweight and surprisingly entertaining performance cars. Today, many enthusiasts appreciate them because they offer classic American V8 fun without the much higher prices associated with Mustangs, Chevelles, or Chargers from the same period. Their lighter chassis also makes them popular for street performance builds and weekend cruising projects. Located in West Valley City, Utah, and offered at $23,000, this 1974 Ford Maverick appears to be a solid and well-refreshed example with a strong combination of cosmetic improvements and mechanical updates already completed. The rebuilt 302 V8, fresh paint, upgraded ignition and fuel system components, and refreshed interior all contribute to a car that feels much more sorted and usable than many unfinished classics currently on the market. Overall, this Maverick represents a fun and distinctive classic Ford that blends compact size, V8 power, and vintage 1970s personality into an approachable and attention-grabbing street cruiser. Number 5. 1972 Dodge Dart Swinger. This 1972 Dodge Dart Swinger represents a highly preserved Survivor-era Mopar that captures the simplicity, durability, and unmistakable personality of early 1970s compact American cars. While many Dodge Darts from this period were modified, raced, or eventually scrapped over the decades, this particular example appears to have remained largely original throughout its life, making it especially appealing to enthusiasts who appreciate authentic Survivor condition classics rather than heavily restored or customized builds. The Dart Swinger models developed a strong following because they offered lightweight construction, reliable drivetrains, and sporty styling in a practical and affordable package that fit perfectly into the muscle car era. Finished in what the seller describes as gremlin green, this Dart immediately stands out with the kind of bold factory color that defined the early 1970s automotive scene. Mopar vehicles from this era became famous for their vibrant high-impact paint options, and green shades like this continue to attract attention today because they perfectly reflect the styling confidence of the period. Combined with the compact body proportions and swinger trim package, the car carries a fun and unmistakably vintage appearance that still feels unique even among other classic American cars. Power comes from Chrysler's dependable Slant 6 engine paired with an automatic transmission. While the Slant 6 may not carry the same aggressive reputation as Mopar's legendary V8 muscle car engines, it remains one of the most respected and durable inline-six engines ever produced by an American manufacturer. Known for exceptional reliability, smooth operation, and surprisingly long service life, the Slant 6 earned a reputation for running virtually forever when properly maintained. Enthusiasts often appreciate these engines because they provide a more relaxed and practical classic car ownership experience while still delivering the unmistakable sound and feel of vintage Mopar engineering. According to the seller, this Dart has remained within a single family since new, an important detail that adds authenticity and historical appeal to the car. Long-term family ownership often suggests consistent care and preservation rather than years of neglect or repeated ownership changes. The seller also notes that the car has always been stored either indoors or under cover, which likely contributed significantly to its overall survival and preserved condition. Cars that avoid prolonged outdoor exposure typically retain better sheet metal, interior condition, and trim quality over time compared to vehicles left exposed to harsh weather conditions for decades. The seller describes the vehicle as mostly original with no major damage and no accident history, another major advantage for collectors searching for unmolested classic cars. Survivor vehicles continue gaining popularity within the collector market because they retain the authentic character, factory details, and originality that many restored cars often lose during extensive modifications or repainting work. Even small signs of age and wear are often appreciated on Survivor cars because they help tell the story of the vehicle's history rather than hiding it completely behind a fresh restoration. Although the odometer currently reads 66,333 miles, the seller suspects it may have rolled over at some point during the car's lifetime. That type of uncertainty is fairly common with older analog odometers from this era, especially on vehicles that have been on the road for over 50 years. Regardless of the exact mileage, the overall presentation described by the seller suggests the car has remained relatively well preserved and properly maintained throughout its life. The Dart Swinger itself occupied an interesting position within Dodge's lineup during the early 1970s. It provided sporty styling and youthful personality without the higher insurance costs and fuel consumption associated with larger muscle cars of the era. Lightweight A-body Mopars like the Dart later became especially popular among drag racers and performance enthusiasts because of their compact size and excellent platform potential. Even stock Survivor examples like this continue to gain appreciation because so many original cars disappeared over the years. The seller notes that the vehicle drives well and looks cool, which honestly fits the personality of a Survivor Dart perfectly. Cars like this are often more about character and authenticity than perfection. Rather than being an over-restored showpiece, this Dodge appears to deliver the type of honest vintage driving experience that many classic car enthusiasts actually prefer. The combination of original paint color, Slant 6 reliability, family ownership history, and preserved condition gives the car a nostalgic charm that modern vehicles simply cannot duplicate. Located in Milliken, Colorado, this 1972 Dodge Dart Swinger is currently offered for $14,000 or possible trade consideration toward a Harley-Davidson, Indian motorcycle, or pre-1970 Volkswagen Beetle. The combination of Survivor originality, long-term family ownership, dependable Slant 6 powertrain, and unique factory styling makes this Dart an attractive opportunity for anyone searching for an authentic and increasingly hard-to-find piece of classic Mopar history. Number 6. This 1974 Chevrolet Nova honestly sounds like the kind of classic American street machine that perfectly represents raw, old-school muscle car culture. In my opinion, Novas from the 70s have always been underrated because they're lightweight, simple, and incredibly easy to transform into serious performance cars. And when you combine that compact body with a powerful 383-stroker V8 like this one has, the result can become an absolute beast on the street. The first thing that immediately grabs my attention is the silver exterior. Personally, I think silver works extremely well on a classic Nova because it gives the car a clean and aggressive appearance without being overly flashy. Some muscle cars rely on bright colors to stand out, but silver has a more serious and understated personality. It allows the shape and stance of the car to do most of the talking. One thing I've always liked about the 1974 Nova is how tough the body style looks. In my opinion, these cars have a very straightforward muscle car design with sharp lines, compact dimensions, and a naturally aggressive attitude. There's nothing overly complicated about them, and honestly, that simplicity is exactly what makes them cool. And the Nova platform itself has always had a strong reputation among street car enthusiasts. These cars are lightweight compared to many other muscle cars from the era, which makes them incredibly fun once serious V8 power is added under the hood. The biggest highlight of this entire listing is obviously the 383-stroker engine. Personally, I think the Chevy 383-stroker is one of the greatest small block combinations ever created because it delivers massive torque, excellent street performance, and that deep aggressive V8 sound that muscle car fans love so much. A properly built 383-stroker in a lightweight Nova can feel absolutely brutal on acceleration. I can already imagine this car pulling hard from a stoplight while the engine roars through the exhaust system with that unmistakable small block Chevy rumble. And honestly, the fact that the engine only has around 300 miles on it makes this build even more exciting. In my opinion, fresh engine builds are always appealing because they give the next owner confidence that the drivetrain is still very new and likely ready for years of enjoyment. The seller also mentions a new interior, and personally, I think interior work is one of the most important parts of restoring or upgrading an older muscle car. A clean, fresh cabin completely changes how enjoyable the car feels every time you drive it. Classic Novas already have a very cool old-school interior layout, and when refreshed properly, they create that perfect vintage muscle car atmosphere that modern cars simply cannot replicate anymore. The seller also says there are lots of new parts that are too numerous to list, and honestly, that's usually a sign that someone invested significant time and money into improving the car. In my opinion, older muscle cars almost always benefit from upgraded components because after 50 years, many original parts naturally wear out or become outdated. One thing I personally appreciate is that the seller describes the car as having a clean title with no significant problems. That's important because many classic Novas spent years being raced, modified, or neglected. Finding one that sounds clean, sorted, and ready to enjoy is becoming harder today. And honestly, the automatic transmission probably makes this Nova a really fun street cruiser. While manual transmissions are exciting, a strong automatic paired with a torquey stroker V8 can actually make a street-driven muscle car feel smoother and more comfortable in everyday driving situations. I can easily imagine this Nova cruising through town with that aggressive V8 idle echoing at stoplights while people immediately turn their heads. Cars like this naturally attract attention because they have a raw mechanical personality that modern cars simply don't have anymore. Another thing I love about Novas is that they always feel a little more rebellious and street-oriented compared to some higher-end collector muscle cars. In my opinion, Novas were never about luxury or elegance. They were about performance, attitude, and pure driving fun. And honestly, that's part of what makes builds like this so appealing. It doesn't sound like a fragile trailer queen that only comes out for special occasions. Instead, it sounds like a real driver's car that was built to be enjoyed on the street. The seller also specifically says, "Please no low-ball offers." And honestly, I completely understand why. Building a car with a fresh 383-stroker engine, new interior, and numerous additional new parts can become extremely expensive very quickly. In today's market, even basic restoration work costs serious money, and performance upgrades like stroker engines are never cheap. Personally, I think many people underestimate how much time, labor, and cash go into building a clean classic muscle car. The asking price of $13,500 honestly feels very reasonable to me considering the fresh drivetrain, upgraded interior, and overall condition being described. In fact, compared to many classic muscle cars today, this Nova actually sounds like a lot of car for the money. What I personally love most about this Nova is the balance between classic styling and serious street performance. You still get the vintage 70s muscle car look and personality, but with enough upgraded power to make the driving experience genuinely exciting. Overall, in my opinion, this 1974 Chevrolet Nova feels like a very cool old-school street machine with a lot of attitude. From the silver paint and lightweight body to the fresh 383-stroker V8 and new interior, this car sounds like the kind of classic muscle car that would be incredibly fun to own, cruise, and show off. And honestly, I think builds like this perfectly capture why American muscle cars continue to have such a strong following today. Number 7. 1962 Mercury Meteor. This 1962 Mercury Meteor is a rare and distinctive early 60s Mercury cruiser that combines preserved originality, tasteful customization, and upgraded small-block Ford power into a classic full-size style compact that stands apart from more commonly seen vehicles of the era. According to the seller, the Meteor was only produced in this particular form for 2 years, making surviving examples increasingly uncommon among Ford and Mercury collectors today. Finished in black with a matching black interior, the car delivers a clean and aggressive appearance while preserving the unique styling identity that defined the early Meteor platform. One of the most notable aspects of this vehicle is its reported original paint. Preserved factory paint on a car from the early 1960s is increasingly difficult to find, especially on vehicles that have remained roadworthy and usable for decades. Original paint often adds a level of authenticity and historical character that many collectors appreciate because it reflects the car's natural aging process rather than a complete cosmetic restoration. The black finish also complements the Meteor's sharp body lines and chrome detailing particularly well, giving the car a strong visual presence without relying on heavy exterior customization. Under the hood, the car has been upgraded with a 302 cubic inch small block Ford V 8 paired with a C4 automatic transmission. The Ford 302 remains one of the most respected and widely supported V8 engines in the classic Ford aftermarket due to its reliability, straightforward maintenance, compact size, and strong performance potential. In a relatively lightweight early 60s Mercury platform like the Meteor, the 302 provides responsive acceleration and significantly improved drivability compared to many original engine configurations from the period. The C4 automatic transmission is equally well known for its durability and smooth operation. Frequently used in classic Ford performance and cruiser builds, the C4 offers dependable street manners while maintaining the relaxed driving experience expected from a vintage American cruiser. According to the seller, the entire vehicle was assembled specifically with cruising in mind, suggesting that comfort, reliability, and road enjoyment were prioritized throughout the build process rather than extreme performance modifications. Inside the cabin, the Meteor features a completely new custom interior finished in black. While the car retains much of its original exterior identity, the updated interior provides a fresher and more refined driving environment suited for regular use and long-distance cruising. Custom interiors are especially common on classic cruisers because they allow owners to modernize comfort and appearance while still preserving the overall vintage personality of the vehicle. The all-black interior also complements the exterior color scheme and contributes to the car's sleek overall presentation. Additional updates include new wheels and tires along with replacement headlights. Modern wheel and tire combinations often improve ride quality, handling stability, and road safety while still allowing the vehicle to maintain a classic appearance. New headlights also contribute to improved nighttime visibility and overall reliability, important considerations for a vehicle intended to remain actively driven rather than simply displayed. The Mercury Meteor occupied a unique place within Ford Motor Company's lineup during the early 1960s. Positioned between compact and full-size offerings, the Meteor shared much of its engineering with Ford products while carrying Mercury-specific styling and trim details. The short production window for this generation has helped make surviving examples less common than many comparable Ford models from the same period. Because of that rarity, Meteors often attract enthusiasts looking for something different from the more frequently restored Galaxies, Fairlanes, or Falcons seen at classic car events. Unlike heavily modified race-inspired builds, this particular Meteor appears focused on preserving vintage character while subtly improving drivability and comfort through carefully selected upgrades. The combination of original paint, custom interior, dependable 302 power, and cruising-oriented setup creates a car that feels authentic to the era while still remaining practical for modern road use. Overall, this 1962 Mercury Meteor presents itself as a rare and thoughtfully assembled classic cruiser that blends originality, tasteful customization, and reliable Ford small-block performance into a unique vintage package. The preserved exterior, upgraded drivetrain, refreshed interior, and uncommon body style make it especially appealing for enthusiasts seeking a distinctive early 60s Mercury that can still be comfortably enjoyed on the road today. This vehicle is located in Stockton, Utah, and is currently being offered for sale at an asking price of $38,000 or best offer. Number 8. 1968 Chevrolet Chevelle SS. This 1968 Chevrolet Chevelle SS is an extremely aggressive big block street machine built around serious horsepower, heavy-duty drivetrain components, and classic late 1960s muscle car styling. According to the seller, this is a true super sport car verified by its 138 VIN designation, adding significant authenticity and collector appeal to an already highly modified performance build. Finished in a deep blue exterior over a black interior, this chevelle combines the unmistakable body lines of one of Chevrolet's most iconic muscle cars with a race-inspired mechanical setup designed to deliver brutal acceleration and commanding street presence. The seller openly states that they did not personally build the vehicle, but based on the listed components, this car appears to have been assembled using many premium aftermarket parts and serious performance hardware throughout. At the heart of the build sits a massive 605 cubic inch big block Chevrolet engine based on a Merlin block platform. Merlin blocks are widely respected in the high horsepower racing world because of their strength and ability to handle extreme power levels far beyond what factory big block castings were originally designed for. According to the seller, the engine allegedly produces somewhere in the range of 700 horsepower, a figure that seems believable considering the combination of high-end components reportedly used during the build. The engine is said to feature diamond pistons, forged internals, Merlin intake components, and matching valve covers, all of which point toward a serious professionally assembled high-performance motor intended to withstand substantial power and torque loads. Backing the 605 big block is a TH400 automatic transmission equipped with a super street torque converter. The Turbo 400 transmission has long been considered one of the strongest and most durable automatic transmissions ever used in American muscle and drag racing applications. In high-horsepower street builds like this chevelle, the TH400 remains a preferred choice because of its ability to reliably handle massive torque while still maintaining decent street manners. The addition of the upgraded torque converter likely allows the engine to reach a more aggressive power band before fully engaging under acceleration, helping maximize launch performance and throttle response. The rear drivetrain setup is equally serious. According to the seller, the car is equipped with a strange engineering Dana 60 rear end with 4.10 gears and a locking differential. Dana 60 rear axles are legendary for their durability and are commonly found in drag racing and high-horsepower street applications where standard rear ends would struggle to survive. The 4.10 gearing strongly suggests that this car was built with acceleration and aggressive street performance in mind rather than relaxed highway cruising. Combined with a massive displacement big block, this gearing setup likely delivers violent low-end acceleration and a very raw muscle car driving experience. Strange engineering rear brakes and rotors have also been installed, further reinforcing the car's race-oriented construction. One of the most visually dramatic modifications is the fully tubbed rear section. Tubbed cars have modified rear wheel housings designed to accommodate significantly larger rear tires, allowing substantially more traction under hard acceleration. This modification alone immediately separates this chevelle from ordinary street restorations and places it firmly into the category of serious pro street-style builds. The aggressive stance combined with the deep blue paint likely gives the vehicle an intimidating appearance both parked and in motion. Additional upgrades throughout the vehicle continue to support its high-performance personality. The car features Hurst slapshift controls, SPAL radiator fans, aeromotive fuel system components, a trunk-mounted fuel cell, lemon headers, Optima battery, and newer seats. The lemon headers are specifically noted by the seller as sounding phenomenal, which is unsurprising considering the displacement and overall engine configuration. A large cubic inch big block Chevrolet equipped with performance headers and a free-flowing exhaust system typically produces the deep, violent exhaust tone that many enthusiasts associate with classic drag-oriented muscle cars. Despite the car's aggressive build quality, the seller also provides a transparent description of the vehicle's imperfections and areas still needing attention. The car reportedly has a minor oil leak and transmission leak, both believed to be relatively small gasket-related issues. The transmission can occasionally shift slowly from first to second gear during hard acceleration, which the seller states may simply require an internal adjustment. Additionally, after replacing the older MSD ignition box, the car now experiences sputtering under hard acceleration, possibly due to RPM limiter settings needing adjustment or bypass. However, the vehicle reportedly still starts, idles, and cruises normally. Other minor issues include the need for a front-end alignment, racing seatbelts that still require installation, an unconnected battery gauge, and wiring that could be cleaned up or organized more professionally. The seller also points out that the front brakes and rotors remain stock, meaning future upgrades in that area may be beneficial considering the vehicle's horsepower level. Importantly, the seller emphasizes that the car has always been babied, stored indoors, and never drag raced during their ownership, partly because Bandimere Speedway closed before they had the opportunity to take the car to the track. The overall tone of the listing suggests the vehicle has been carefully preserved and enjoyed responsibly despite its enormous performance potential. Located in Castle Rock, Colorado, this 1968 Chevrolet Chevelle SS is offered at an asking price of $43,000. Considering the cost of building a true 605 cubic inch big block Chevelle with a Merlin engine platform, Dana 60 rear end, fully tubbed chassis, upgraded fuel system, and extensive performance modifications, the seller believes it would be extremely difficult to recreate this car today for the same amount of money. For enthusiasts seeking an authentic 138 code SS Chevelle with extreme street performance, aggressive pro-street styling, and massive horsepower potential, this car represents a very serious and highly attention-grabbing muscle machine. Number 9. A beautifully preserved 1974 Ford LTD that represents the classic era of full-size American cruising, where comfort, style, and smooth V8 driving experience mattered more than compact dimensions or aggressive performance. Finished in its original light blue paint with a dark blue vinyl interior, this LTD captures the unmistakable atmosphere of mid-1970s American luxury and highway cruising. Large, comfortable, and full of vintage personality, this car reflects a time when full-size sedans were designed to provide a relaxed and commanding presence on the road. This particular LTD stands out because it has reportedly remained under one owner and still carries only around 90,000 original miles, a detail that adds to both its authenticity and overall appeal. Long-term ownership often suggests a vehicle has been cared for consistently over the years rather than passed through multiple hands without proper maintenance. Survivor-style classics like this have become increasingly desirable because they preserve the original character, styling, and driving feel that defined their era. The exterior still wears its factory light blue paint, giving the car a very authentic appearance that immediately reflects the design trends of the 1970s. Unlike modern vehicles that often rely on sharp lines and aggressive styling, the Ford LTD embraced long flowing proportions, large chrome bumpers, and a wide luxurious stance. According to the seller, the body lines remain straight and the chrome trim still shines nicely, both important details on a large vintage sedan where overall presentation plays a major role in visual impact. Adding to the car's presence are oversized chrome wheels that give the LTD a more custom cruiser-inspired appearance while still complementing the classic body design. Full-size American sedans from this era already carried impressive road presence due to their sheer size, and the upgraded wheels likely helped the car stand out even more at local shows and cruise nights. Combined with the smooth body lines and vintage blue color combination, the overall appearance feels clean, elegant, and unmistakably old-school American. Inside, the dark blue vinyl interior continues the period-correct theme and likely delivers the kind of spacious and comfortable cabin experience that full-size Ford sedans became famous for. Cars like the LTD were designed around comfort first, often featuring wide bench seating, soft suspension tuning, and enough interior space to make long-distance driving feel effortless. The seller specifically mentions the interior comfort and generous room inside, qualities that remain one of the biggest attractions of these classic full-size cruisers today. The automatic transmission setup further reinforces the relaxed driving personality of the vehicle. The LTD was never intended to be a high-revving muscle car, but instead a smooth and quiet highway cruiser capable of carrying passengers comfortably for hours at a time. Full-size Fords from this generation became known for their easy driving nature, soft ride quality, and dependable mechanical simplicity. Even today, driving one feels very different from modern vehicles because of the floaty suspension, wide seating position, and relaxed overall road manners. One of the reasons cars like the 1974 LTD continue gaining attention among enthusiasts is because they represent the final years of truly oversized American sedans before downsizing and fuel economy concerns reshaped the industry later in the decade. These vehicles embraced comfort and visual presence without compromise, creating a driving experience that modern cars rarely attempt to replicate. The combination of long body lines, chrome details, plush interiors, and smooth cruising ability gives them a nostalgic personality that stands out strongly in today's automotive world. Located in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and offered at $12,000, this 1974 Ford LTD appears to be a clean and honest survivor-style cruiser with strong originality and vintage appeal. The original paint, one-owner history, low mileage, comfortable interior, and striking blue color combination all contribute to a vehicle that feels authentic and well-preserved rather than over-restored or heavily modified. Overall, This LTD represents the kind of classic American full-size sedan that delivers relaxed cruising, nostalgic styling, and unmistakable road presence in a way few modern vehicles can truly match. Number 10. 1967 Chevrolet Chevelle SS. This 1967 Chevrolet Chevelle Super Sport represents one of the most desirable and recognizable muscle cars of the entire 1960s era, combining authentic factory SS heritage, tasteful performance upgrades, and a clean Southwest body in a package that continues to command serious attention among collectors and enthusiasts today. Unlike many tribute builds and cloned supersports currently on the market, this particular example is described as a true 138 code SS car, meaning it left the factory as a genuine super sport model rather than being converted later in life. That distinction alone significantly increases the car's appeal and long-term collector value within the classic Chevrolet market. Finished in an upgraded galaxie blue exterior over a black interior, the car carries the aggressive and timeless styling that made the 1967 Chevelle one of Chevrolet's most successful muscle car platforms. Many enthusiasts consider the 1967 model year to be one of the cleanest and best balanced Chevelle body designs ever produced, with its sharp body lines, muscular stance, and understated yet aggressive appearance. The galaxie blue paint gives the car a deep, rich presentation that fits the era perfectly while still drawing attention anywhere it goes. According to the seller, the car originally came from Arizona, meaning it benefited from dry climate preservation that helped maintain solid floors and a clean rust-free frame over the years. The drivetrain and supporting systems have received numerous upgrades and replacement parts aimed at improving both reliability and drivability while maintaining the car's traditional muscle car personality. A new turbo 400 automatic transmission has been installed, providing one of General Motors' most respected heavy-duty automatic gearboxes. The TH400 remains extremely popular among muscle car enthusiasts because of its durability and ability to handle substantial horsepower and torque without sacrificing street manners. Complementing the transmission is a Hurst V-Matic shifter, adding a more performance-oriented feel and greater driver control compared to a standard factory column shifter setup. The engine itself has also received several important upgrades, including a new Brawler carburetor, MSD HEI ignition system, and Edelbrock Performer 2.0 intake manifold. These additions likely improve throttle response, reliability, fuel delivery, and overall performance while preserving the aggressive V8 character expected from a true super sport Chevelle. The MSD ignition system especially helps modernize spark consistency and starting reliability, while the Edelbrock intake and Brawler carburetor combination is well known for delivering strong street performance and crisp acceleration. Cooling and mechanical reliability have also been addressed through the installation of a new radiator, motor mounts, and transmission mounts. These upgrades help ensure the car remains comfortable and dependable for regular driving rather than becoming a temperamental garage-only classic. Vehicles like this are often far more enjoyable when properly sorted mechanically, allowing owners to confidently cruise, attend shows, or take longer highway trips without constant concerns about overheating or drivability problems. Braking performance has been improved through the addition of new front disc brakes, an extremely valuable upgrade for any mid-1960s muscle car. Disc brakes dramatically improve stopping consistency and safety compared to older factory drum brake systems, especially in modern traffic conditions. Additional recent work includes a new gas tank, new rear window glass, new left wing window, and replacement door handles with updated internals, all contributing to the overall refreshed condition and usability of the vehicle. The interior has also been refreshed in recent years and reportedly remains in excellent condition today. Carpet, headliner, seat upholstery, and door panels were all replaced while still maintaining the authentic black interior appearance expected from a classic super sport Chevelle. Rather than over-customizing the cabin, the restoration appears focused on preserving the factory muscle car atmosphere while simply refreshing worn materials and improving overall presentation. One of the most defining elements of this build is the Flowmaster exhaust system, which likely gives the car the deep aggressive exhaust tone that enthusiasts associate with classic American V8 muscle cars. A properly tuned Chevelle with a healthy exhaust note remains one of the most recognizable sounds in the entire muscle car world, and systems like this help preserve that unmistakable personality every time the car starts or accelerates. The 1967 Chevelle SS occupies a legendary place in Chevrolet performance history because it arrived during the peak years of the muscle car wars when manufacturers were competing aggressively through horsepower, styling, and street performance. Genuine SS cars continue to remain highly sought after because they combine classic GM engineering with timeless styling and enormous aftermarket support. As original factory super sport examples become increasingly difficult to find, Clean and well-maintained cars like this continue attracting strong interest from collectors looking for authentic muscle-era Chevrolets. Located in Centennial, Colorado, this 1967 Chevrolet Chevelle SS is currently offered for $65,000. The combination of true 138 code super sport authenticity, rust-free Arizona body, upgraded drivetrain components, refreshed interior, disc brakes, modern reliability improvements, and outstanding overall presentation makes this Chevelle an especially attractive opportunity for enthusiasts searching for a genuine classic American muscle car that is both collectible and highly enjoyable to drive. Number 11. This 1969 Plymouth Roadrunner honestly feels like the kind of classic American muscle car that perfectly captures the raw energy of the late 60s horsepower wars. In my opinion, the Roadrunner has always been one of the coolest muscle cars ever built because it wasn't designed to be luxurious or overly refined. Plymouth built these cars with one main goal: serious performance at an affordable price. And honestly, that attitude is exactly what made the Roadrunner become such an icon. The first thing that immediately grabs my attention is the factory B5 blue paint combined with the blue interior. Personally, I think B5 blue is one of the greatest Mopar colors ever created because it gives the car an aggressive and unmistakably late 60s appearance. Bright blue muscle cars from this era have a kind of energy and personality that modern cars rarely capture anymore. And honestly, on a 1969 Roadrunner, that color probably looks absolutely incredible. The body lines on these cars are already muscular and aggressive, but the bright factory blue paint makes every curve and detail stand out even more. One thing I've always loved about the Roadrunner is its attitude. In my opinion, Mopar muscle cars from the late 60s had a completely different personality compared to Ford and Chevrolet competitors. They felt wilder, louder, and slightly more rebellious. The Roadrunner especially became famous because it stripped away unnecessary luxury and focused on delivering pure street performance. And honestly, that formula still feels exciting today. The seller mentions that this car is numbers matching, and personally, I think that's a huge deal in the muscle car world. Authenticity matters a lot with classic Mopars because many were heavily modified, raced, or pieced together over the years. Having the original matching drivetrain instantly makes this Roadrunner more special and collectible. Under the hood sits the original 383 V8 with a 4-barrel carburetor, and honestly, I think the 383 is one of the best all-around Mopar big block engines ever made. It delivers strong torque, great sound, and plenty of performance while still being more street-friendly than some of the larger and more extreme Mopar engines. And honestly, a healthy 383 Roadrunner already feels incredibly fast and aggressive by classic muscle car standards. I can already imagine this car accelerating hard while the fresh dual exhaust system produces that deep Mopar big block rumble that enthusiasts instantly recognize. The seller says the entire exhaust system is brand new from front to back, and personally, I think exhaust upgrades are one of the most important parts of a muscle car experience. The sound is a huge part of the personality. A Roadrunner without a proper exhaust note just wouldn't feel complete. Another thing that immediately stands out is the addition of the air grabber system. Honestly, even though it was added later, I think air grabber setups look amazing on classic Mopars. They instantly give the car a more aggressive and high-performance appearance. Watching that hood scoop open while the engine breathes underneath probably creates one of the coolest visual experiences you can have in a vintage muscle car. The rebuilt 727 automatic transmission is another major positive in my opinion. Chrysler's TorqueFlite 727 transmissions are legendary for durability and strength, especially behind big block Mopar engines. And with less than 700 miles since the rebuild, the drivetrain still sounds extremely fresh. The seller also mentions factory power steering and factory front disc brakes, and honestly, those are very desirable features on older muscle cars. In my opinion, upgrades and factory options that improve drivability make a huge difference when actually using classic cars in modern traffic. Another thing I really appreciate is hearing there's no rust anywhere, including the floors and trunk. Honestly, rust is one of the biggest enemies of vintage Mopars because many of these cars suffered badly over the years. A rust-free Roadrunner with solid floors and trunk is a major advantage. The seller also says the glass is in great shape, and while that might sound minor, details like that matter a lot in high-quality classic cars. Clean original-style glass, trim, and bright work help preserve the authentic appearance of the vehicle. The Magnum 500 wheels and newer BF Goodrich tires also sound absolutely perfect for this car. Personally, I think Magnum 500s are some of the best-looking wheels ever installed on classic muscle cars because they instantly give the car that aggressive period-correct street look. And honestly, roadrunners already have incredible road presence even before modifications. But with the B5 blue paint, air grabber setup, Magnum wheels, and fresh stance, this car probably turns heads everywhere it goes. What I personally love most about classic Mopars is how emotional they feel. Ford and Chevy muscle cars are fantastic, but Mopars always seemed slightly crazier and more rebellious. They have a kind of raw personality that feels untamed even when standing still. The seller also mentions the car runs fantastic, and honestly, that's exactly what you want from a real muscle car, something you can actually drive and enjoy rather than just stare at inside a garage. The asking price of nearly $57,000 honestly feels understandable to me considering the numbers-matching drivetrain, rust-free condition, rebuilt transmission, fresh paint, and overall quality of the car. Authentic late 60s Mopars continue to rise in value because demand for real muscle cars from this era remains extremely strong. What I personally love most about this roadrunner is that it sounds like a proper old-school muscle machine without becoming overly modernized. It still keeps its original character, factory identity, and raw late 60s attitude intact. Overall, in my opinion, this 1969 Plymouth Roadrunner feels like a true icon from the golden age of American muscle. From the numbers-matching 383 V8 and fresh torque-flight transmission to the stunning B5 blue paint and aggressive Roadrunner styling, this car represents everything enthusiasts love about classic Mopar performance. And honestly, I think this is exactly the kind of muscle car that makes people fall in love with the entire era. Number 12. 1970 Pontiac Tempest. This 1970 Pontiac Tempest is a solid and increasingly desirable GM A-body classic that combines big cube Pontiac V8 power, rust-free condition, and strong restoration potential into a vintage muscle-era platform with plenty of street presence. Finished in dark green, the car carries the clean and aggressive styling characteristics associated with Pontiac's early 70s intermediate lineup, while offering a drivetrain combination that gives it significantly more performance potential than many original Tempest models from the same period. Power comes from a 400 cubic inch Pontiac V8 engine paired with a turbo 350 automatic transmission. The Pontiac 400 remains one of the brand's most respected engines due to its strong torque delivery, deep exhaust character, and excellent compatibility with GM's midsize performance platforms. In a relatively lightweight A-body chassis like the Tempest, the 400 provides the kind of acceleration and muscular driving feel that defined American street performance during the late muscle car era. The engine's broad power band and durability have helped it remain highly popular among Pontiac enthusiasts for decades. Backing the engine is the TH350 automatic transmission, a drivetrain component widely respected for its simplicity, durability, and smooth operation. The transmission pairs well with the Pontiac 400 by delivering dependable street drivability while maintaining the relaxed cruising characteristics expected from a classic American muscle-era car. Together, the drivetrain setup creates a balanced combination of strong performance potential and practical usability suitable for regular cruising, weekend driving, or continued restoration work. One of the most important highlights mentioned by the seller is the vehicle's rust-free condition. Structural integrity is especially important on early 70s GM A-body cars because rust repair on floors, trunk sections, quarter panels, and frame areas can become extremely expensive and labor-intensive. A solid body provides a far stronger foundation for restoration or continued preservation and often represents one of the most valuable qualities in a project-oriented classic car. The seller describes the vehicle as being in great shape overall, although the interior still requires restoration work. Fortunately, the listing also notes that many of the parts necessary to complete the interior are included with the sale. Included restoration components can significantly reduce both cost and time for the next owner, especially when dealing with older vehicles where original trim pieces and interior-specific parts may become increasingly difficult to source. The ability to purchase a relatively complete car with many needed components already gathered is often highly appealing to enthusiasts planning a gradual restoration. Visually, the dark green exterior complements the long body lines and understated muscle-era styling of the 1970 Tempest platform. Unlike the more aggressively trimmed GTO models, the Tempest maintained a cleaner and more restrained appearance while still sharing much of the same underlying engineering and chassis design. This makes cars like the Tempest especially attractive to enthusiasts who appreciate Pontiac performance heritage but prefer a slightly more understated presentation. The 1970 model year remains particularly significant within Pontiac history because it represented one of the peak years of GM muscle car development before tightening emissions regulations and rising insurance costs began reshaping the industry later in the decade. Pontiac's intermediate body cars from this era became known for combining strong V8 performance with comfortable road manners and distinctive styling. The Tempest platform, while positioned below the GTO in the lineup, still provided an excellent foundation for both factory performance and later enthusiast upgrades. Unlike fully restored show cars or highly modified drag-oriented builds, this particular Tempest appears positioned as a usable driver and restoration candidate that already benefits from solid mechanical components and rust-free structural condition. The combination of a healthy Pontiac 400 engine, automatic transmission, included restoration parts, and clean body condition creates a strong starting point for someone looking to complete and personalize a classic Pontiac muscle-era vehicle over time. Overall, this 1970 Pontiac Tempest presents itself as a solid and mechanically appealing vintage Pontiac that blends big block-style V8 power, rust-free preservation, and restoration opportunity into a classic A-body package. The strong drivetrain, included interior parts, and desirable early 70s styling make it especially attractive for enthusiasts seeking an affordable entry into classic Pontiac ownership without starting from a heavily deteriorated project. This vehicle is located in Granby, Colorado, and is currently being offered for sale at an asking price of $17,500. Number 13. 1962 Ford Galaxie Base. This 1962 Ford Galaxie represents a thoughtfully updated full-size classic that blends early 1960s Ford styling with a more modern Mustang-sourced drivetrain and upgraded audio equipment, creating a comfortable cruiser with improved reliability and everyday usability. Finished in a blue exterior paired with a matching blue interior, this Galaxie retains the long, clean body lines and unmistakable chrome-heavy styling that made Ford's early 1960s full-size cars stand out during the golden era of American automotive design. According to the seller, the car is very clean overall and has received numerous upgrades intended to modernize both the driving experience and interior comfort while preserving the vintage personality that makes these large-body Fords so appealing today. One of the most significant upgrades is the installation of a 5.0 Mustang drivetrain. Although the listing does not specify the exact year or configuration of the donor drivetrain, the Ford 5.0 platform became legendary because of its durability, aftermarket support, fuel efficiency, and balanced performance characteristics. Swapping a Mustang-derived 5.0 drivetrain into a classic Galaxie gives the car a much more modern feel compared to the original early 1960s powertrain options while still maintaining strong compatibility within the Ford family. The newer drivetrain likely improves starting reliability, drivability, parts availability, and overall cruising comfort, making the car more practical for regular road use and long-distance driving. The drivetrain is paired with an automatic transmission equipped with a quarter-shifter setup, giving the car a slightly more performance-oriented driving feel compared to a standard factory column shifter configuration. Quarter shifters are commonly associated with classic street machines and muscle-inspired builds because they provide quicker and more direct gear selection while adding a sporty custom touch to the interior. Combined with a Mustang-based 5.0 drivetrain, the Galaxie likely delivers a smoother and more responsive driving experience than a stock 1962 full-size Ford, while still preserving the relaxed cruising personality expected from a large American classic. The seller also notes several recent mechanical upgrades aimed at improving reliability and ride quality. The vehicle has reportedly received new shocks, helping improve handling stability and ride comfort over uneven roads. A new fuel tank and fuel pump have also been installed, both important maintenance items on older vehicles that help ensure reliable fuel delivery and reduce common storage-related problems often found on vintage cars. Additionally, the car now features a new exhaust system, which likely enhances both engine sound and overall drivability while refreshing an important part of the vehicle's mechanical system. Inside the cabin, the Galaxie has been modernized with an upgraded retro-style stereo system featuring Bluetooth connectivity. Retrofit audio systems have become increasingly popular among classic car owners because they preserve the vintage dashboard appearance while adding modern music streaming capability and improved sound quality. According to the seller, the system also includes a powerful 2,200-watt amplifier and a subwoofer mounted under the seat, suggesting that the audio setup was designed to provide significantly stronger sound performance than the original factory equipment ever could. This combination of vintage aesthetics and modern technology helps make the car much more enjoyable during long drives and weekend cruising events. Visually, the 1962 Ford Galaxie remains one of the most recognizable full-size Ford designs from the early 1960s. The long body proportions, subtle tailfin influence, wide chrome trim, and low roofline create a distinctly American luxury cruiser appearance that continues to attract collectors and enthusiasts today. The matching blue interior and exterior color combination further enhance the car's classic presentation and help preserve the authentic atmosphere of the era. Unlike heavily modified pro street builds or race-oriented muscle cars, this Galaxie appears to focus more on comfortable cruising, upgraded drivability, and tasteful modernization while still maintaining its original full-size character. The odometer currently shows approximately 71,000 miles, although the listing does not specify whether this reflects actual mileage on the vehicle or only on certain drivetrain components. Regardless, the seller emphasizes the car's overall cleanliness and road-ready condition rather than marketing it as a fully restored concours example. The only significant issue specifically mentioned is that the hood hinges need replacement, which appears to be a relatively minor repair compared to the extensive drivetrain and mechanical upgrades already completed. Located in Littleton, Colorado, this 1962 Ford Galaxie is offered at an asking price of $16,500. Combining classic early 1960s Ford styling, a modernized 5.0 Mustang drivetrain, upgraded suspension components, refreshed fuel system, new exhaust, Bluetooth audio system, and strong overall presentation, this Galaxie offers a balanced mix of vintage American cruising character and practical modern usability. For enthusiasts looking for a comfortable full-size Ford classic with tasteful upgrades and dependable street manners, this Galaxie represents an appealing and highly enjoyable cruiser with plenty of old-school personality. Number 14. A solid and approachable 1969 Ford Fairlane powered by a dependable 351 Windsor V8 and presented as an honest driver quality classic with plenty of potential for future improvement. Finished in blue and equipped with an automatic transmission, this Fairlane captures the clean styling and muscle-era personality that made late 1960s Ford Intermediates so popular among enthusiasts. While it may not be a fully restored show car, it appears to offer the kind of usable and enjoyable classic car experience many buyers actually look for, something that can be driven, upgraded over time, and enjoyed without the pressure of maintaining a museum-level restoration. Under the hood sits Ford's respected 351 Windsor engine, one of the most reliable and versatile small-block V8 platforms ever produced by Ford. Known for its durability, smooth power delivery, and strong aftermarket support, the 351 Windsor remains a favorite among classic Ford enthusiasts because it offers a nice balance between performance and everyday drivability. According to the seller, the car runs and drives well, an important detail for a classic vehicle in this price range because many older projects often require significant mechanical work before becoming roadworthy. Paired with an automatic transmission, the drivetrain setup gives the Fairlane a relaxed and comfortable cruising personality. Cars like this were designed during an era when American manufacturers focused heavily on combining V8 performance with practical daily usability, and the Fairlane platform became one of Ford's most versatile models because of that balance. The driving experience likely delivers the smooth low-end torque and unmistakable V8 sound that enthusiasts continue to appreciate decades later. The exterior is finished in blue, a color that fits naturally with the late 1960s Ford body styling and helps emphasize the car's long hood and classic proportions. The 1969 Fairlane carried a more muscular and aggressive appearance compared to earlier generations, with sharper body lines and a wider stance that reflected the changing muscle car trends of the era. Even today, these cars still have a strong road presence without feeling overly large or bulky. Several updates have already been completed, including a Bluetooth sound system along with new wheels and tires. The upgraded audio system adds modern convenience while still allowing the car to maintain its classic personality. Meanwhile, the new wheels and tires likely improve both appearance and overall drivability, helping the Fairlane feel more stable and refreshed on the road. Wheel upgrades can dramatically change the personality of a classic car, and fresh tires are always an important advantage for both safety and comfort. The seller openly mentions that the back seat has damage and could use some attention, which gives the listing a more honest and transparent feel overall. Rather than presenting the vehicle as perfect, the seller acknowledges that the car still has room for cosmetic improvement. For many enthusiasts, this can actually be appealing because it leaves opportunities for personalization and restoration without the higher pricing often attached to fully completed show cars. The rest of the vehicle appears functional and usable, making it the kind of classic that could be enjoyed immediately while being improved gradually over time. One of the appealing aspects of Fairlanes from this generation is that they often provide a very similar muscle-era driving experience to more expensive Ford models while remaining comparatively affordable. Their connection to Ford's late 1960s performance heritage gives them strong enthusiast appeal, especially when equipped with V8 engines like the 351 Windsor. The combination of lightweight intermediate body design and V8 torque creates a car that feels lively, responsive, and unmistakably old-school American. Located in St. George, Utah, and offered at $10,500, this 1969 Ford Fairlane appears to be a straightforward and enjoyable classic cruiser with solid mechanical fundamentals and room for cosmetic improvement. The healthy 351 Windsor, automatic transmission, Bluetooth audio, and new wheel and tire setup all contribute to a vehicle that feels usable and approachable rather than overly complicated or unfinished. Overall, this Fairlane represents the kind of honest vintage Ford that can still provide plenty of enjoyment, nostalgic character, and classic V8 personality without requiring an overwhelming investment. Number 15. 1978 Mercury Grand Marquis LS Premium Sedan. This 1978 Mercury Grand Marquis LS Premium Sedan represents a classic example of late 1970s American luxury motoring, combining massive full-size proportions, traditional V8-powered comfort, and highly original survivor character in a platform that reflects an era when large body-on-frame sedans dominated American roads. Vehicles like the Grand Marquis were designed around smooth highway cruising, spacious interiors, and effortless comfort rather than aggressive performance, and today they continue attracting enthusiasts who appreciate vintage American luxury cars with unmistakable road presence and nostalgic styling. Finished in blue with a matching blue interior, this Grand Marquis carries the bold monochromatic appearance that became extremely popular during the late 1970s. Full-size luxury sedans from this period often emphasized elegant color coordination, soft ride quality, and plush interiors, giving them a very different personality compared to smaller muscle cars or modern performance-oriented sedans. The long body lines, wide stance, and formal roofline of the Grand Marquis helped establish it as one of Mercury's flagship luxury models during the era. According to the seller, the car remains remarkably complete and highly original overall, with every accessory and system reportedly still functioning properly. The lights, gauges, power equipment, and other factory systems are all said to work correctly, which is honestly quite impressive for a nearly 50-year-old luxury sedan filled with electrical accessories and comfort features. On many older American luxury cars, electrical problems and missing trim components are extremely common, so having a largely intact and functioning example already provides a major advantage for restoration-minded buyers. The body is described as straight and solid, while the interior reportedly remains complete as well. Finding complete original interiors in cars from this era can sometimes be difficult because many older luxury sedans suffered from years of sun damage, neglect, or stripped parts over time. Preserving original trim pieces, dashboards, seats, and factory accessories becomes increasingly important as replacement components grow harder to locate. This car appears to offer a very solid foundation for either a proper restoration project or a creative custom build. Under the hood sits the original 400M V8 engine, one of Ford's large displacement engines commonly used in full-size cars and trucks during the 1970s. The seller does note, however, that the engine is currently stuck and will require major mechanical work before returning to operation. According to the listing, previous repair attempts have already been started, but the drivetrain will ultimately need either a complete teardown or full replacement depending on the next owner's goals. While this obviously prevents the vehicle from being road-ready today, it also explains the extremely affordable asking price considering the car's otherwise complete and original condition. For many classic car enthusiasts, especially those experienced with vintage American luxury platforms, a complete rust-free body and intact interior are often considered more valuable than a running drivetrain. Engines can be rebuilt or replaced relatively easily compared to locating missing trim, rust-free sheet metal, or functional factory interior components for older full-size sedans. Because of that, project cars like this still hold substantial potential despite needing major engine work. The Grand Marquis itself represented Mercury's premium interpretation of Ford's full-size platform, offering additional luxury touches and upscale styling compared to standard Ford LTD models. Cars like this were engineered primarily for smooth, comfortable cruising, with soft suspension tuning, quiet interiors, and large V8 engines designed to deliver effortless low-speed torque rather than high-performance driving dynamics. Today, that relaxed floating ride quality has become part of the nostalgic appeal that draws enthusiasts toward these giant 1970s sedans. Another interesting factor is the reported 44,000 miles shown on the odometer. While exact mileage verification on older analog odometers can sometimes be difficult, Lower-mileage full-size luxury cars often survive in surprisingly complete condition because many spent years as lightly driven family cruisers rather than heavily abused daily transportation. The seller's description of the body and interior condition seems consistent with a car that may have avoided extreme long-term wear. At only $800, this Mercury presents an unusually affordable entry point into classic full-size American luxury car ownership. Whether restored to original condition, converted into a custom cruiser, or repurposed as a donor platform for another build, the vehicle appears to offer substantial value simply based on its completeness and solid condition alone. The seller also mentions possible trade interest for another running project vehicle, reflecting the enthusiast-oriented nature of the listing. Located in St. George, Utah, this 1978 Mercury Grand Marquis LS Premium Sedan offers a unique opportunity for someone willing to take on a mechanical project while preserving an increasingly uncommon example of late 1970s American luxury car history. The combination of complete originality, functioning factory accessories, straight body, low asking price, and classic full-size styling makes this Mercury an especially interesting project platform for collectors and vintage American car enthusiasts alike.